You sound just like him too. It's like I can't even tell him
This is
apart.
throwing me for a loop. I don't know what's happening.
I'm just Charlie with more banjo music, so yeah.
Oh, that wasn't a joke before? You actually play the banjo?
No. I just meant that I'm Southern, like Appalachian.
Oh, right.
But yeah, banjo's
Right.
just an easy joint to hit, but yeah.
Well, we were talking about that the other week. Technically, Charlie is the most southern of anyone in America, because Florida goes all the way down, right? So that's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
See, Florida's kind of like a wormhole, because like you're driving through the South and it's like, shotgun, Confederate flag, shotgun, and then retirement homes. And that's when you know you hit Florida.
So,
that's where Andrew lives.
I think you'll agree with this, and I think I brought this up on the podcast, but the ironic part of Florida is the more north in Florida you go, the more the South it becomes.
Yes, correct. 100%.
Yeah.
So
It's super weird.
You can tell where it starts, because I want to say not Jacksonville, but like whenever you start going down the actual point of Florida, like mainland Florida on the panhandle, that's just Alabama, only hotter with beaches, right? But as soon as you pass that crest going down the highway and you start seeing palm trees, you're suddenly in like northern South America. It's like a switch flips.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So the way that I've always described it is there are 3 Floridas, and they are very different. There's North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida, and they are 3 different states combined into one
100%.
state. North Florida is the South. Central Florida is Florida, like Orlando and Tampa
That's Disney
and all
World.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
Disney
Disney
World. Yeah, Disney World. It's Florida.
It's just Disney America.
It's Disney America. It's Florida proper, right? And then the South is Little Cuba.
Yes,
It's,
exactly.
It's Spanish America. Yeah.
So it's funny. I stayed in southern Florida for a couple weeks last year, and like I remember stopping in northern Florida to get gas, and there was like Confederate flags hung up everywhere and a bunch of like Trump 2024, all that stuff. And then you get in the truck, and then I drive and then stopped again in southern Florida, and all the gas stations were in Spanish. Like,
Yep.
it's
That's
just like
Florida.
a total switch. It's wild. But yeah, Florida's something else. Florida's like, a bunch of people like brag about being from the South and like the pride that comes with it. But man, if you survived growing up in Florida, that is like a testament.
Is that serious? Is like Florida like the most brag-worthy state in the country in terms of upbringing?
It is in the term of survivability. Like,
Every day is like full of danger.
yeah, like if you come out and you're like a functioning member of society and not like a gator wrestler, like you know all the jokes about Florida, man?
Yeah.
Like that's the culture down there. Like if someone wrestling a gator to like get a free bingo card is just a Saturday for them. It's absurd.
So wait, if Florida is mostly full of like retirement homes and like that's the experience that I've heard, or tourists because of Disney World and such.
Right.
Why does it get that kind of attitude? Why do people go to those kinds of extremes in Florida?
So
does anyone
it's
have a
like,
reason?
When you drive through Florida, you can see it. Because you'll be going down, it's all flat for one, right? There's no hills or mountains or anything. So you're just driving, you can see all the way out to the horizon. And it's like, oh, look, we're at the beach, and there's like, palm tree. This is actually the experience I had when I was down there. You're like, oh, we're at the beach, and there's palm trees, and there's guests. And at the outside of the beach, there's a little villa that's like the retirement homes. And then you drive for like 10 more minutes, and traffic is stopped because there's a group of alligators crossing the highway. Like,
That's cute.
It's like having your civilized society on the fringe of the outer worlds. Like, if you go a little bit inland, it becomes a player versus player situation.
Yeah, so it's like the wilderness in RuneScape. I don't know if you played RuneScape, but yeah, there's a section in RuneScape.
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah, the wilderness. It's like that, yeah.
Pretty much. It's hilarious, though. So yeah, if you, like, grew up in Florida and you're normal now, that is the true, like, I survived testament.
Can you escape Florida, though, or does it always go with you? Are you, like, branded as a Floridian if you go to other states, and then people, like, distance themselves?
Knowing friends of mine who grew up in Florida, I can tell they're from Florida before they tell me. Because, like, there's just,
it's
like,
just an aura that permeates.
Yeah,
What are the
like,
hints?
you stand too close. Yeah, you stay too close to them. And
What's your typical reaction if you're like near a Floridian or conversing with one? What do you do?
Always have a weapon in arm's reach. No, I'm kidding. Whenever like
escape plan.
Escape plan, yeah. Normally, I guess what it is where I've hung out with like guys who are from Florida, they'll casually bring up wild scenarios like they're not a big deal, and that's what tips me off to them being in Florida. Like I have one friend of mine, for example, who I didn't know was from Florida, and in one of our first conversations with each other, he was like, "Yeah, I remember when I was like 5 or 6." There was a trailer park next to my neighborhood where they would get into fiberglass light battles or halogen light battles.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they would
the shadow super easy.
The sport of Florida, yeah.
Yeah, the sport of Florida, yeah. And he says that to me, and I go, "Are you from Florida?" And he went, "Yeah, how'd you know?" So stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that how they settle like I don't know, presidential debates in Florida whenever they need to choose a new senator or something? They just put him in in the middle of a.
That's how you determine if a bill becomes a law.
He takes his, is it all formal too? One takes his glove off and slaps the other one in the face with it. I challenge you to a duel, sir, and then they just fucking wrestle in a white trash trailer park.
It doesn't sound like there's any honor in Florida.
But they do wear suits, oddly enough.
Yes, yeah. There's their own code of honor. Like it used to be duels where, take 10 paces and then, turn and fire. But now duels in Florida are like, grab as many light bulbs as you can from Home Depot and meet me at the trailer park. Same spirit, really.
Yeah, that's called a Florida snowball fight. You just get all the light bulbs you can. You make a little fort. You just start chucking them. It's good times.
Yeah, wait, actually, you're right. There is no snow in Florida. It's too far south. That's what you have to
man.
use.
So hot
Wendigoon.
and gross.
So Wendigoon, I don't know how much you want to dox yourself, but which state are you in, or a specific region of the South?
I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay. Yeah. So, I think Tennessee. Does Tennessee get snow at all?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Normally every winter we'll get some. It's very rare that it's like a debilitating amount of snow. That normally happens once every like 8 years or something. Yeah.
I thought it was just like New York up, that like those states, like the north. What is it? The Northwest? Those kinds of states?
That's the Northeast.
Northeast, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Michigan and such?
No, a lot of our states get snow. Most of them do.
We like if you look at the U.S. on a globe, like the entire country's pretty far north comparatively. So like Tennessee will still get snow. It's just normally not a lot of snow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I brought that up and I wanted to double check on the snow thing because I don't know if you've ever experienced the like fake snow that they do for the South. Maybe when you were a kid.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that shit is the most pathetic like fantasy fulfillment I've ever seen in my life. So anyone out there listening who's grown up in the South of the United States, like any southern state, especially ones that don't have any snow like Florida, you'll know that very often when wintertime rolls around, the parents are like, well, we want the kids to have snow because it'll be fun and like a winter wonderland. And, like it's winter. They got to have snow. So what they'll do is they'll get like a snowmaking machine, which just kind of powders ice and then sprays it out all over the fucking grass.
Why?
And they'll make a singular hill with it. And they'll be like, go slide down the ice. Yay. Wee. And it's the most like pathetic and not snow thing because it's fucking jagged and hard and uncomfortable.
If America is full of states where snow actually happens, why not just drive 2 hours north or something?
No, Jackson. You have to get a big, complicated gas spewing machine to cover your lawn in slush.
So,
yes.
I live fairly close to Gatlinburg, which Gatlinburg has a giant ski resort on top of it that whenever there's not snow, they pretty much cover the entire mountaintop with like fake snow to some degree. So normally if like kids want to see snow, that's where their parents take them. However, I do have memories of my friends like at middle school they'd roll out one of those machines and spray them. And it was always a game with the kids of who could stand the closest to it without chickening out, because it was basically like getting sandpaper blasted into your face out of a machine gun. So like the boys would be inching towards it screaming as their faces getting chipped.
But it's ice.
Yeah,
it's fucking
just
sucks,
ice,
man.
yeah.
They make
awesome.
that giant hill, and they're like, it's snow. It's like, no, it's fucking just a bag of ice you got at 7-Eleven. Like,
Well,
that
that's
shit
what
hurt.
snow is. What's the difference?
Yeah,
really?
and they're trying to make the best of it.
Snow's
What
just
can you do?
Sky ice.
I know, but
You're
even
trying
as a
to
little
make-
kid, I could tell. I'm bringing this up because I did that multiple times through multiple years of my like childhood, and every time I knew, I was like, "This isn't real snow. This sucks."
Aw.
Well, no one's saying it's real snow, Andrew.
Yes,
You're
they
not
are.
like
That's
some
the point,
genius.
Jackson. They put
No,
up
they're not
flyers.
saying it's
You'll
real
have
snow.
You'll have a church or some other community function, and they'll put up flyers, and they'll be like, "We're going to have a snow day in Florida." Whoa! And you know they're going to get out the giant fucking fluffy ice machine that just sprays it all over the church lawn, and it sucks. It's exactly
Andrew,
what they
having
do.
been in Florida and like it's so hot that I would take that deal.
Yeah.
I would settle for it. I'm fine. Like blast me in the face with ice shards. I would take. Do you guys think maybe like Floridians are just crazy because it is that hot and the citizenry they have to live from AC to AC basically? Like you get out of your car and you have to sprint inside the house
Oh,
lest
I see
your
what you
brain
mean.
fries. Like if you
Yeah,
stop
they're-
to
yeah,
do
they're
your
like
if you stop to
heat
tie your
fried.
shoes, you just fucking go crazy from the heat.
melt.
So I have a theory about why Florida is the way that it is. So like humanity over like, centuries of establishment has gone from like, man-to-man survival to like now we can pretty much thrive and survive in society as it's created. We don't have to worry about like the wilderness or, running out of food or anything like that. That has applied to everywhere in like, the United States except for Florida. When I was in Florida, I watched a guy, he was fishing, and he reeled in his pole, and there's a little baby gator next to him, and he just looked down at it and kicked it. And I just stared at that. I'm like, that man has lived more of like the raw instincts of
Yeah.
life than anyone I've ever met.
Well,
mean.
to some degree maybe, but like if your instinct is to kick a gator, I think your instincts are a bit off as well.
Well, you've got to curb their aggressive behavior early. It was probably his pet. You can't have it just sitting there like doing that. That gator thing they do. That like
It just
you
hits at you.
can't. That's a sign of aggression. You can't have them doing that.
It's
not good.
Who's boss?
Yeah, that way when you bring it home with your like wife and small baby, it won't decide to have a midnight snack when you're not looking.
So, were you saying that maybe Florida is just one place in the world that's not meant to be inhabited? Maybe it's
a little bit, yeah. So it's actually true that right after the Civil War, or actually, sorry, right before the Civil War, whenever the like westward expansion was essentially killing and chasing out all the Native Americans, a group of Native Americans went to Florida, and the military left them there because they said, quote, no one in their right mind could survive that harsh land.
Yeah.
And nothing has changed.
When our fucking parents were growing up, especially like our Florida
Our
parents, they would talk about how, hey, yeah, we live here in Florida and everywhere south of us is just swamp.
Yep.
There were parts of Florida as recently as like the fucking 60s and 70s where it was just uninhabitable. It was just swampland. You could not live there. And then they built it and expanded it and kept pushing south.
Right.
When I stayed there in Florida, I was staying like pretty close to what beach is that near Miami?
Probably Miami Beach.
No, it's on the Gulf side. Fort Myers or
Fort Myers, yeah.
Yeah, I was near Fort Myers, and I was like near a subdivision. Like this wasn't Florida quite yet, and there was a little canal in the backyard, so I was just fishing. And while I was fishing, a log floated by, and I was like, "Oh, it's a big log." And then I like focused on it, and it was just an alligator, like 5 feet from me. So I'm like, that is horrifying.
So this was one trip. All these experiences were from one trip.
Yeah, this was like we were pretty close to the what do they call it down there? Like the wetlands of Florida, the Everglades.
The Everglades?
We
Everglades.
drove through the Everglades a lot, which is where I
okay.
saw most of that.
Because
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've seen more alligators in this one trip than I have in my entire life.
Dude, so while I was there, I went to, it's like the Skunk Ape Museum, which Skunk Ape's like a big Florida, urban legend. So I went to the museum, which is in the middle of the Everglades. Like, you just drive on a bridge over it most of the way. And they had an alligator preserve there. So, like, you could see them in cages, but it didn't really mean a lot because on the way there, like, looking over the bridge, you just saw dozens of them just floating across